What's up, y'all? Dr. TCG here, back with another video. And today I got for you my OP14 first impressions slash decklist video. This isn't going to be a super in-depth deck profile video for either of these decks. This is just me playing my literal first games on these leaders and just my overall thoughts on them in game, as well as, you know, some lists to get you guys started and get you guys testing as well. This is like my initial testing. The leader that I really want to play this format is going to be Doffy. However, if things are looking like Ace is still like one of the best, if not the best decks in the format, I will be on Ace. But Doffy will be a nice like pet deck, or a deck that I take to like off locals, or you know, whenever I don't want to like go super sweaty and grind Ace. But aside from that, let's just get into the cards. So for those who don't know, Don Quixote Doflamingo is the new OP14 mono purple leader. On opponent's attack, once per turn, Don -1. You can select your leader or one of your Don Quixote pirate type characters, change the target of this attack to the selected card. So he basically is just a redirect leader. He allows you to change the targets of attacks to a lot of your Don Quixote pirates, or to protect one of your Don Quixote pirates and have them hit your face instead, similar to like the Rosinante blocker leader actually. And a lot of the cards in the deck from OP14 synergize with this effect, so they all have a bunch of on KO effects which are meant to, you know, synergize with this leader, right? You have this Dellinger, which is pretty much a second searcher for the deck, who says on KO you get to ramp a Don is rested, as well as check the top 5 for a Don Quixote Pirates type card, and then, you know, it's a searcher, so it bottom decks the rest. We also get this Sugar, who on play ramps a Don is active, and then on KO, if the opponent has 6 or more Don cards, you get to play a 5-cost or less Don Quixote pirate from hand. She's sort of like a 4-cost Bond Clay, but she also tutors out one of your bigger 5-cost Don Quixote pirate bodies. Next we have Baby 5, on play, once again ramps a Don is active, and then on KO, return a Don and then you heal a life. This card is, I think, really strong for the defensive playstyle of the leader and the defensive nature of the leader, allowing you to heal a life as well as blocking an attack is I think super strong in the upcoming format, and this card just does a lot to help you extend the game and help you close out later. 2 of the Don Quixote Rosinante, we shouldn't be a stranger to this card. Blue Purple Luffy plays it a lot, and I think this card is just like seeing more and more play, which makes me happy a lot. I love Rosinante. Next, we have another new card from OP14, 5-cost Virgo. This is basically a floodgate similar to like the 3-cost Tashigi. It stops one of your Don Quixote pirates from being removed from your opponent's effects on the field by just returning a Don once per turn. And then it has a when attacking effect of you returning a Don and then giving your opponent's characters -2,000 power for the turn. One of your opponent's characters -2,000 power. So it's a vanilla statted, no counter, floodgate effect for your board once per turn, and it also has some like cool combat tricks. Next we have 5-costed Trouble. He's a 2k once per turn. This effect can be activated when you return a Don to your Don deck. If your leader is a Don Quixote pirate, you get to ramp a Don. So this is similar to like the 5-cost Kid Blocker or the 3-cost Pudding. Basically just allows you to stay on curve whenever you do decide to use your Don plays, but only on your opponent's turn. So that's like the big difference between this and 5-cost Kid and 3-cost Purple Pudding. Next is 5-cost Monet. On play, if you're a Don Quixote leader, you get to ramp a Don as active. On KO, you draw 2 trash 1, and then you get to ramp 2 rested Dons. This is actually pretty insane. I think this synergizes a lot with the 10-cost Doflamingo, which we'll get into now actually. Pretty much this 10-cost Doffy says Don -3, choose 1. If your leader is a Don Quixote pirate, you get to KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 8 or less, or you get to choose 3 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 7 or less, and they cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn. I really like the cards cannot be rested text, which it has a lot of implications, right? Because if your opponent cannot rest a card, it means they cannot block with the card because you need to block to rest, and it also means that those cards cannot attack, and then it also means that those cards cannot rest themselves to get, you know, effects for like their abilities, right? So take like the tap searcher like a Sugar, or the 8-cost green Captain Kid, right? So those cards not being able to rest themselves, or you know, it really like hurts a lot of decks and a lot of strategies, especially like the green Mihawk strategy, right? Because if you choose 3 characters and then the Mihawk won't be able to like tap their Perona, you know, to get their effect off to untap Dawn, and they're kind of in a bind. So I really like this 10 cost Doflamingo card. And once again, I think the synergy with Monet is pretty good. And then you notice that there's like a bunch of 5 drops. I think there's like 4, 8, 12, 14 5 drops for you to play off of this Doffy. 8 drop Doffy from OP10. You know, we know this card. On play, Dawn -1, you get to Jinbei out of 5 cost or lower Don Quixote Pirate. And then if you have a Dawn active, when your opponent attacks, you get to ramp it Dawn as active. So this can also help you stay on curve. Outside of that, we're running this Baby 5, which like it helps you ramp, but you got to discard a card. It's just a 2K. Uso Hachi rests like 5 cost or lower blockers. Really good for like getting in and getting lethal. Divine Departure, 0 cost 3K event. Plus it has like the effect where you can like tap 5 Dawn to get something -8K power to help you trade into board. We have the 1 cost search event from OP10, main counter, check top 3 for Don Quixote Pirate. And then Noro Beam Sword, another defensive event that helps you sustain in the late game and then, you know, basically like negate a second swing. So we're trying to be really defensive with this leader. I think this is one of my favorite leaders. I like purple. Purple is like my favorite color. So it'll feel really good if this leader's like one of the 3 or one of the 5 best decks in the room. I think we're approaching a format that like breaks out of the triangle, and then we have like maybe 2 decks that are like really good, but then we have like a bunch of other decks that are going to be just right below them, and then they can have a favorable matchup into like the 2 better decks. So we're moving away from like a triangle and going into more like a pyramid type thing, which I think it's fine. I think it's a bit healthy as long as it isn't like super jungly roulette, and as long as the matchups aren't just like super heavily favored towards one side. Okay, next up we have OP14 Boa. I think this is like the people's champ leader, where like a lot of people are going to be on this leader just because I think she's actually pretty I'll just say I think she's actually pretty easy to play. You're like your trigger strategy. I heard Kai say that she's like the yellow Katakuri of this set, and that kind of makes a lot of sense. So let's like get into the leader and the cards and explain why. Opponent's turn, when you play a character, draw 1 card. That is not once per turn, so if you just, you know, trigger a bunch of bodies, you're just drawing cards. And then the second effect is once per turn, Dawn ×1. When one of your Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirates type characters with 5k or more base power is KO'd, you get to, your opponent, adds 1 card from the top of their life to their hand. So if your opponent KOs one of your pirates, your Kuja ladies, they take a life, and that's once per turn, but it's still a pretty strong effect. It makes it so that if they swing into your board, they lose a life, or if they KO it with like KO effects, they lose a life. So it's really like blue removal is how you want to answer this strategy. In terms of the card by card, we have Pudding. If you're a blue deck and aces in the format, or there's another good blue deck in the format that like hoards cards, you're gonna be on Pudding. This Boa blocker from the starter deck, really good to see this card being used again. It being like a Kuja Pirate to help synergize with the leader ability, it giving you a rested Dawn as well to help synergize with your leader ability is really good. And then you can also stack your deck to place triggers for like your 9-cost Boa, which we'll talk about later. We have 1-cost Lilith from OP13. She is just a top 4 searcher for triggers, and then 90% of your deck is triggers. I think the only cards that aren't triggers in this deck is Pudding and Boa. So this Lilith literally searches everything in this deck except herself. So she has like 40 targets in this deck because she can't search these 10. Really good searcher, I think, is like if you want to hit something consistently, this Lilith is your girl. Next we have Marguerite, on play, top 5 searcher for Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirates, and then you have to trash a card from hand. Not sure why they added this. Maybe because she isn't like leader locked and like you can splash the Kuja engine and like other yellow decks, but I don't know. She already doesn't have counter, but I guess they're like trying to balance her because she has a trigger. I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of like having to trash the card from hand, but I get it. Like Boa draws a lot, and then like if you hit this off of trigger, you're like drawing a card, you're searching, and then like yeah, I get it. So I guess that's why they printed that. Next we have Kikunojo. On KO, if your opponent's at 3 or less life, you get to heal 1, and then if your opponent's at 3 or less life, play this card. I think Kikunojo is just like a really good yellow trigger, and maybe I'm wrong putting her in this list. but this is like I think this is like the only list today that like I cooked up personally. That Doffy list was like the runner-up list from one of the Tokyo championships. But I just think that like this is just like a good blocker, or not a good blocker, a good trigger. And if the card isn't good, I'll probably take her out, put something else in. But it's just what I'm testing like day one, and if she doesn't come up a lot, then I'll like find something to replace her with. I see people are running like the 6-cost Rayleigh, which can work well. Anyway, we have Baby 5 next. Really good trigger. If your leader is multicolored, draw 2 cards, and then she's a 2K. Searchable off of Lilith, searchable 2K, and if you hit this trigger, you're just like ahead in card advantage. I really just wanted to find a 2K in a deck that was like playable as well, that wasn't Frankie and like beige. And I think this card's really good. Next we have Ran. Activate main, give a Rested Dawn to your Yakuza Pirate leader or character. Helps you facilitate leader ability, trigger play her. I'm playing Shirahoshi. There's like 20 bricks in this deck. And I'm like, maybe let's play the Shirahoshi. We can dig deeper in our deck, look for more things, and get rid of some of these bricks. And then it's another trigger body to play off of like leader ability. So like you can play her, draw a card from your leader ability, and then you draw 3 cards and then filter 2. But essentially you're drawing 4 cards and filtering 2 when you do this. So it's like you really get to see a bunch of cards in your deck, and maybe because of that we get to like add like more stuff to the deck. I'm also thinking of like upping the femur count from 2 to 4, because in my game today I kind of wish that like I had a femur. But we'll talk like more femurs, but we'll talk more about that later. Next we have Rindo. On KO, opponent's turn, add 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards, then you take 1 damage. So this heals you, but also like deals damage to you. And the then you take 1 damage text is important because it means you can trigger as well. So she kind of replaces herself, right? So like, you know, you can like have this Rindo trigger, and then if the top card of your deck is like any of your other trigger bodies, you basically like replaced her. So I think this is like a really cool card, a really neat card to play. And then instead of just like playing the body from hand, they made it so that like you have to like get lucky and play it from life, which I think is pretty interesting. Next is Gorgon Sisters. This is one of the strongest trigger bodies in the game, primarily because of you can activate main once per turn, reveal 3 Amazon Lily or Kuja Pirate cards in your deck. I'm sorry, from your hand, and then give your leader and all of your characters 1 Rested Dawn each. So this can like buff the board by 1K during your turn, which I think is like really strong. And it isn't like type locked to like what you can buff. So once again, I think it's really strong. Getting this trigger out early, and then like in the mid game when you have bodies, and then it's like being able to pump all of them can really help you apply pressure to your opponent. I think this Gorgon Sister is really strong, and it's also a 2K. Next we have Shakiyaku. On play, if your opponent has 3 or less life cards, draw 2, then trash 2 from your hand. More filter, kind of like Shirahoshi, but she's a 2K, she's Amazon Lily, and then she's a trigger body. Maybe because we have this, we don't need the Shirahoshi, but once again, guys, this is like my day 0, my day 1 testing list. Next, Boa Hancock, 9-drop Hancock. If your leader is the 7 Warlords of the Sea type, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards, then add 1 card from the top of your opponent's life cards to their hand. So this is pretty much 10 Mom, but for Boa, and then it's type locked. This is like a balanced 10 Mom. Balanced. Trigger says play up to 1 character card with 6,000 power or less and trigger from your hand. So if you trigger this, you get to play any of your like Kuja Pirate triggers, which noticeably they're all 5Ks. That's like very interesting in this deck. All of your Kuja Pirate bodies are like 5Ks. But this can also play the Kikunojo from your hand as well, because it isn't like type locked. And they have Perfume Femur, unblockable, gives your leader unblockable so that you can like swing really big, close out the game, because they're going to be taking a lot of life. So it's a consistent way to close out the game. And then we have You'll Frighten Me, counter event. If you have 2 or less life, up to 1 of your opponent's active characters cannot attack this turn. And then the trigger is like, it's the same thing as this Boa trigger. So the trigger is like really scary. And then I think the counter event itself is pretty cool. It negates like it negates 1 other attack. So like you counter, negate the other attack, but you take 1, and then you like probably trigger something anyway. I think it's pretty cool. I'm not super convinced on this card, but once again, day 0 list. And this is what I'm rocking right now with Boa. I'll update you guys in like the full deck profile video later. Once I get started on that. I think Mihawk. Okay, cool. And then the last deck I got for you guys today is OP14 Mihawk, the green slop deck. People are like building this leader in a bunch of ways. He doesn't have any like super solid synergies and like stuff that's like for him, so we're just kind of putting cards in the deck and just like making it work because the leader ability is just pretty generic. So Mihawk says if your opponent's leader has the slash attribute, he gains plus 1k power, meaning he has an advantage over every slash leader in the game. He's a 6k 5 life leader against any other slash leader in the game. And then activate main once per turn. You may rest one of your cards. If there is a character with a cost of 5 or more, set up to 3 of your Dawn cards is active. Then you cannot play character cards from your hand during this turn. Yeah, pretty. So he basically untaps and gets you like a discount on the units that you play. And notice how it says you may rest one of your cards, meaning that you can rest a Dawn, you can rest a character, you can rest your leader, or you can rest this stage if you wanted to, and then get the second part of the effects. I think that's pretty strong. And then when this leader got revealed, I instantly said he needs a merry-go type stage that just needs to draw a card and do something minor. And we got Coffin Boat, which is on play, draw a card, and end of your turn, set it on as active. Draws a card, does something minor, but it's not like too minor because we do play like 6 counter events in the deck as well. So for our searchers, we have this Perona 2k. She checks top 5 for a Thriller Bark Pirate or a Mihawk card, so she can search this Mihawk. She can search the other Perona searcher as well as this Perona 5-drop. Those are pretty much like her only targets, but this is a 2k and then it's like an added searcher in the deck. Mihawk kind of struggles with consistency. He's like a green deck without like dedicated searchers, so it gets a little bit weird sometimes. Next, the other searchers, we have Perona. This searcher is, I think, like the better one because this just searches any slash card in your deck as well as a green event. And I think every like character in our deck is slash except like the other Perona and this Tashigi here. But otherwise, this Perona grabs like everything in our decks, like the Shanks, the Mihawk, the La Beppo, and then all of these green events. But it can't search the stage because stages are not events. Next up, we have this Kikunojo. Good fodder for your leader ability. It's a slash card searchable off Perona. You can put this on the board, use your leader ability, untap 3 Dawn, and then end the turn it untap. So it's like kind of like a pseudo stage, but it doesn't draw you a card, and it's a 2k, right? Why not include it? Next is Tashigi, floodgate card so that your bodies don't get removed. You have something to keep these guys in play, just to keep pressing your advantage. After that, we have Human Drill. It's another 2k. When this character is rested, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So sort of like Usohachi, but it only hits like 4s, and then it's a 2k slash 2k searchable off of Perona. Next is 5-drop Tashigi, not the Zoro 5-drop Tashigi, but this one. If this character will be removed, you may rest one of your cards instead. So it has its own like floodgate, meaning like it doesn't need this Tashigi's protection. And then it has a second effect. You rest 2 of your cards. This character gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So this is like a 5,008k unit, provided you can find the other 2 cards to tap. Which once again, it can be like your stage and a Dawn, or you rest 2 Dawn, and then you use your Mihawk leader ability, rest your stage, and then you untap 2 Dawn. I think that's like probably the interaction you want to go for. But there's like other things you can do too. You can like rest your searchers as well. Then we have this Perona. This Perona is like the like big early like mid game playmaker of the deck. I think you want to see this card on curve a lot. This card is like your win condition in the mid game. On play, 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's next turn, meaning blockers can't block, characters can't swing, characters can't rest for effects, but 5 or less. And then on KO, you may rest one of your cards, play up to 1 green character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. So it cheats out another unit. I think it's only like cheating out like Tashigi and Human Drill at this point, but it can cheat out another Perona. I think this card makes me want to run more 5-drops in the deck and sort of like cut down on some of this top end, because I don't think you need 4 Mihawk, 4 La Beppo. You probably need 4 Shanks. This card is broken, which we'll get into now. Next, we have 7-drop Shanks. Your turn. When this character is rested, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with 7k base power or less. Opponent's turn. If this character is rested, give all of your opponent's characters minus 1k power for the turn. So when this character is rested, meaning when he's attacking, or if you decide to rest him for your Mihawk leader ability, you get to rest one of your opponent's 7k units, and then he has like the 10-12 Shanks effect of debuffing your opponent's board by 1k. I think this card is like insane. It's vanilla stated, which means it's really hard to trade into, as well as it having like that rest effect, pretty much like on attack or quote unquote on play, or activate main, which are like your Mihawk ability. Super synergistic card. I think this card is like insane. Next we have 9-drop Mihawk. He says on your turn, when this character is rested, up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 9 or less cannot be rested until your opponent's next turn. So similar to the 5-cost Perona, this card is just stopping a 9-drop or less from being rested. I think that preventing that text, once again, for like stopping cards from being rested, is really strong text. And then it has, on your opponent's attack once per turn, trash a card from your hand. Up to one of your leader or characters gain plus 2k power during this battle. So he also helps you pitch a brick plus 2k. Really good card, really good defensively. I think this is to help you like stabilize a little bit in the late game so you can make another push on the turn after. I think he's like super strong, but he isn't like a use all card, right? I don't think you want to play, I don't think this card is like you're gonna play this on curve and then it's like win every time, right? I don't think this is like your primary win condition. I think this is just like helps you close out the game. Next we have Law and Beppo. This card is like another People's Champs card. We got it in a body structure deck and it was like pretty weird in her. We were testing it a little bit, but I'm glad that it's like maybe finding a home here in Mihawk. I think this card might be like the win condition for the deck, or like pretty similar to Mihawk, but a little bit more powerful just because it gives you that plus 2k power for the turn. Then it also like freezes something. So I think this Law and Beppo, I'm really happy to see this, you know, included in decks. And after that, we have the 0-cost 3k event for green. Dead Man's Game, you know, tap 2 characters are done. And then it's also like a guard point on defense. And now we have this Radical Beam for Mihawk. You may rest one of your cards up to one of your leaders or characters, gain plus 4,000 power for this battle. And then you may rest the trigger, you may rest one of your cards, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a base power of 7k or less. Interesting text on this card. It costs 1 Dawn and you need to rest another card, meaning that like if you have to like leave up 2 Dawn for this card if you want to rest Dawn. Otherwise you'll like tap the 1 Dawn to pay for this into like a searcher or your stage. So just be cognizant of how like you need to pay cost for this card. And then lastly we have Coffin Boat, the stage. I talked about this already. Yeah, so on play, draw a card and end of turn, leave up 1 Dawn for like your counter events or what have you, right? So that's it for like the card by card for these 3 decks and like my overall thoughts. But compared to the rest of the 7 warlords like Jinbei, Law, Moria, Crocodile, I think Crocodile is like another like front runner because people are testing him a lot. That leader kind of surprised everyone, and he'll be like the next guy that I cover. But right now I think Doffy, Mihawk, and Boa are like leading the pack in terms of like the new OP14 leaders, and then we'll maybe see like Crocodile pop up once they figure out matchups. Anyway, we're gonna get into the gameplay. There's not gonna be any commentary on the gameplay, but these are just like my first games, and you guys can like watch over and let me know any mistakes I made in the comments. I definitely made some mistakes in my Mihawk game, but these decks are pretty strong, and I'm kind of glad that OP14 is like opening up the meta a little bit. That's gonna be it from me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay today. Peace.